Bust it.
Hello, welcome to Political Platform. My name is Amechi Anakwe. Welcome to a program where we take you around the country and sometimes beyond to update you on major events, issues, and developments. I can tell you a lot happening in the judiciary. Olise Abakoba, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has instituted a case in court, praying the court to sack the president as a Minister of Petroleum. He's advancing various reasons for this. Just as Nnamdi Kanu's trial is expected to continue today in Abuja, will he show up after, of course, the incidents that happened in the southeast? His lawyers claiming that it is the military that should know his whereabouts, where the government expects him to show up, and what will happen to his sureties if he fails to, of course, show up as expected by law. And of course, the AGF that dragged Senator Issa Misau to court had his day yesterday, and his representatives asked the FCT High Court, presided over by Justice Ishaq Bello, to issue a warrant of arrest against the senator, but the court asked them to go back and use all legal and lawful means to serve him, for him to come to answer the libel case instituted against him. Just as the Charlie Boy group, the Mumu Dondu, they say they are beginning from today to hold daily sit-out at the Unity Fountain in Abuja to compel the president to take action over some of the corruption allegations raised against some of his men and appointees, saying it appears the president does not have any plan to take quick action on that. And so they will be sitting out every day, just as they did with the other time they put pressure on the president to come back. And what is happening to Intels, a company whose one of the majority share owners is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar? Federal Revenue Service officials clamped down on its headquarters in River State, just as the Nigerian Ports Authority has terminated a contract it has with Intel, saying due processes were not followed. And one of associates of the former Vice President, Timmy Frank, is alleging a plot to weaken the former vice president because of his political ambition. And on a sad note, bloodbath in Plateau State, 29 killed, women and children. When will this stop? Adebayo Bodrin is with me on the program today.
Thank you, Amishi. I think one of the things that bother me is Jos. As a young reporter working in Jos, capital of Plateau State, I used to admire that town. I used to, particularly those houses built on the rock, and I used to dream that after retirement, I would like to possess one of those houses and live there. Because by that time, most of the people living on those hills then were Europeans and all the rest. And for me as a reporter, there is no part of Jos that I don't used to go to then, looking for stories and all over. But these days, the peace, the tranquility that we used to have in Jos and adjoining towns and villages in Plateau State is a cause for worry that for over a decade it's been bloodbath almost periodically, if not almost every day, if not all every month. I think it's a serious source for concern, and I think it shows clearly that all the peace initiatives seems to have failed, and then we need to have a serious rethink of how to bring back peace on the plateau, because this incessant killing, this reprisal attacks, I think there is the need to put an end to it, and it must not be a job that should be left to the Plateau State government alone, because it's now manifestly clear it's not just the state alone cannot contain it. It must be a national concern. We don't have value for life any longer, and I think something serious should be done to ensure that peace is back on the plateau.
Adebayo Bodrin, is the same format that we have seen killings and reprisal killings and statements will be issued. The military and security agencies will tell us they're on top of the situation, and it ends there. Only for another week, another month, another year for us to begin to hear about killings in Plateau. For years now, it is going on, and you begin to ask yourself, are there no permanent solution? What can the state government do? Practical solution? Can it take a look at what happened in Benue, in Taraba, and begin to talk about an anti-open grazing bill to pass it as a law to prohibit open grazing? Should the federal government, what should they do beyond the deployment of security agencies and agents? Yesterday there were allegations that the women and children that were killed were shifted into a school building where they were massacred, and that the soldiers that were supposed to guard them were not around. These are some of the allegations trailing. We ask and demand that something different be done this time around. We can't continue to be citizens of a country where the territory has been turned to killing fields. Of course, it was the flag off of the PDP governorship campaign in Anambra State. The candidate was there, and the flag was handed over to him by chieftains of the party body. Sad development was that in Oka, of course, the flag off was in Onitsha, but in Oka, another group did their own rally threatening to pull out of PDP if Local Obaze was not indeed removed as the candidate of the party.
Well, it's a thing that now that the party leadership is battling and fighting hard to restore sanity and normalcy within the party after the Supreme Court judgment. I think this is a matter that we see how they will put on their thinking caps and think of a solution on how to get out of it, because it's very, very critical that if the party is plagued by another intra-party wranglings in Anambra State, it definitely signal that it will adversely affect the politics there. But you must bear one thing in mind, that the problem of PDP in Anambra State, tracing it back to 1999, is that purely is the handwork of the godfathers who wants to control the party. And as much as possible, if you look at all the people that have emerged as state chairman of the party from 1998 to date, there were people that were imposed by other people, and they are answerable to some people. So what is also playing out is the fact that the godfathers that lost out in the jostling for the sole governorship ticket of the party seem not to be satisfied, and so they want, either they are looking for some concessions, either they are looking for some settlement, or
to distract the
or they are dancing to the tune of opposing parties in the state. You can't rule it out. You cannot rule it out that way.
Because in politics, the only thing all you have.
Yeah, the only thing that seems to have the only thing that seems to have not play out in this election in Anambra State is that the era of free injunctions, that people will have about 8-6 injunctions in their pockets. They would either stop the candidates or stop them from even holding rallies, and all the rest seem not to have played out this time around. And I think we should praise the judiciary for this, because unlike in the past, when people just walk into courts, obtain frivolous injunctions
in different divisions
of similar jurisdiction, and then they just obtain different injunctions and the rest. So it has stopped. It has not played out, because the same thing will have played out in seeking for the ticket of APC. But I think we should praise the current Chief Justice of the Federation, who seems to have given out stern warning to all the court to stop issuing frivolous injunctions.
Much later on the program, good news coming out from the APC camp at the federal level. The convention is about to hold. It has not held since the party came to power, but the party has fixed October 30 as date for National Caucus meeting, and October 31, the next day, as National Executive Council Committee meeting, prelude to the convention of the party. But first, let's hear from you. Let's share some of the emails we have picked from our email platform.
Welcome to the mail segment. I am Ife Nwanwobi.
And I'm Amaka Okoro. Welcome.
Let's begin with this mail coming from Bulus Asen from Jos in Plateau State, and he titles this one, Plateau Bleeds Again. The mail reads, "While we welcome the President's condemnation of the massacre, which he rightly described as madness, we will be more confident of government's resolve to arrest the situation if he refrains from subtly excusing such attacks as reprisals. It makes it seem like it is justifiable to carry out reprisal attacks. The essence of every government is the protection of lives and properties of all. The Nigerian government needs to reassess its priorities and discharge its primary duties to its citizens without fear, favor, or excuses."
And still in that light, Dixon Eka in Abuja has this to say. The incessant killings in Plateau State is worrisome and should be addressed holistically. It is unfortunate that the home of peace and tourism has turned to a very dangerous place to live in. While I'm not against the military forces maintaining peace in most viable states in the Middle Belt region, I enjoin the state government to think outside the box by bringing the warring parties together for a peaceful dialogue for a long-term solution to the insecurity challenges in the state. Peace is priceless.
And away from that, in the spirit of fairness, Gloria Ibukwe from Isolo in Lagos State says, "The statement of President Buhari to World Bank President is one that will continue to generate reactions from Nigerians because it does not suggest that Nigeria is one. How could he have asked World Bank to pay more attention to the North or Northeast as the case may be? Every part of the country is facing one problem or the other that needs urgent attention from the World Bank. If President Buhari feels that Northeast deserves more attention because of the activities of Boko Haram that has ravaged the zone, he should not forget that the Southeast was first ravaged by the civil war. In the spirit of fairness, I think President Buhari should have instructed that Southeast be given a special preference like the Northeast. I was happy yesterday during your program when Uju raised the issue of the 3 R's of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation promised to the Southeast, which has not been fulfilled. So I think President Buhari should start from this point to convince us that he's not a sectional president. God bless Nigeria."
And this is the much we have for you on the mail segment for today. Keep sending your mails to us. Send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Otoke, the hometown of former President Goodluck Jonathan, is less than a kilometer from where I am standing. And most parts of the road leading to that particular town have been flooded. From Bayelsa State in south-south Nigeria to Niger and Benue states in the north-central, they wait on the unwilling federal government for permanent solutions to stop recurring floods in ravaged communities continue as the rainy season winds down. Straight Talk engages the 25.958 billion naira contract awarded in 2014 for the dredging of River Benue with no work done after 3 years. There are questions the Federal Ministry of Transport and its Minister Rotimi Amechi will not answer this Wednesday at 2 p.m. on AIT and 17 hours GMT on AIT International. It's Nigeria's development promotion program on television.
Busted.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
It is a marketplace of ideas. Political platforms send your views and we share it with the rest of our listeners. Of course, you can monitor and enjoy this program through several means. Of course, the AIT network channel on your various radio stations is, of course, one of the first port of call, but you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's AIT Political Platform from anywhere around the world to, of course, follow this program. You can also take a recourse to the AIT International. That's when you're outside the country, and AIT Abuja later in the evening, of course, if you're in the Abuja area. So many people are asking, where is Ohiria Bonsuremi? We can tell you he's on a vacation, extended leave, and at the appropriate time after he had enjoyed himself to the fullest and regenerated. he will join the family here. Of course, as our listener pointing out, what happened last Sunday, and I think I saw some of that by myself, some parents not allowing the vaccinators to have access to their children, and it's one thing that is worrisome. The National Orientation Agency, just like listeners suggested, should move in another government agencies, a situation where what has been obtained in northern Nigeria, where parents have rejected for a long time vaccinations, saying it is for a sinister motive, and now it has moved to other parts of the country. We have refrained from indeed commenting yet on the visit of Jacob Zuma of South Africa to Imo State. Wanted to hear the whole side of the story. We are making efforts to get officials of the Imo State government to state their own side of the story, because based on public opinion, it appears that Imo State is competing favorably with Kogi State in terms of where you have governors that are engaged on daily basis in comedy of errors. But we want to indeed give them that opportunity to, of course, get to understand why they made that very visit, big ceremony as it were. But let's start from APC. Since the party came to power, the convention is there to hold. But good news now, 2 meetings scheduled to precede that national convention, non-elective, just as with the PDP. The national caucus meeting of the party on October 30, national caucus, that's every member of the party at the national level. Those are in elective positions are expected to come. Then National Executive Committee of the meeting, that's the leadership of the party, should also meet to pave way for a national convention whose date has not been fixed. But from every indication, it's good news. So many people have predicted that the party cannot hold that convention, that if they try to hold it, it will implode right there because of its many differences. But it appears they are ready to prove critics wrong.
I think it's a welcome development that at long last APC is set to hold a mandatory convention, because it's a convention that is specified by their constitution. And it's also good news that the National Caucus will meet. It's also good news that the National Executive Council Committee of the party will also meet. There has been so many people who have commented in the past that the party is unable to hold its the meeting of statutory organs of its statutory organs. And I think one issue that they have thrown away, the explanation given in the past was that all those meetings and all the convention cannot hold unless the president is around. But I think that one raises a critical question. The question it raises is that must a political party be built around an individual? And of course, my submission on this is that it's all not to be. It's not I don't think it's a valid excuse. But all the same, thank God, the president traveled out for medication. He returned hale and hearty. He's back, and I think it's also a good thing now that they have decided at long last that meeting we hold and the convention will eventually hold now that the president is around. But there are a lot of issues they need to tackle. The board of trustees of the party
is yet to be constituted.
Some said it is too large. Some said the status should change from board of trustees to council of elders. Whatever way they will do, don't forget the fact that there was the Dr. Muiz Banire's committee that was set up to actually review the constitution of the party. And maybe one of the issues that will be thrown up in terms of the constitutional amendment will be to replace the board of trustees with a council of elders. And because his fashion against, they must have borrowed, be a new political party that emerged a few months before the last general election, is that they borrow it. The concept of board of trustee or council of elder or whatever one they will settle for was borrowed actually from the older political parties, and it's supposed to be the conscience of the party, where the organs of the party fail to live up to expectation in terms of resolving a lot of issues. The wise men and the wise women who will constitute that council of elders or board of trustees will probably be saddled with the responsibility of providing solution to such naughty issues. I think it's a good thing, but the totality of what is available in public domain is that committee or council of elders or the board of trustees has not been able to take off simply because who heads the council?
Should it be Atiku Abubakar or Bola Ahmed Tinubu? These are some
who
of the
head
names that
or Bisi Akande? Those are some of the things that the party has not been able to resolve. Let's hope that by the time they meet and amend their constitution, that the committee will come. And there are a lot of issues too. There are conflicts in so many states of so many state chapters of the party, from Kano to Kaduna to different places, to Enugu and others. They have, and I hope when they meet, when the National Caucus meet, when the NEC meet, they will be able to resolve some of these issues. And of course, they should show interest in governance. They are the ruling party as of today, and there are a lot of contentious issues that I think they should be interested. You cannot contest election in Nigeria unless you contest under the platform of the political party. And if they are the one that produce the government, they must be able to speak forcefully, have input into
governance process.
Particularly the conflict we see rearing its head between or among key officials of the party. I don't think is good news.
The APC's meetings October 30 and 31, that's National Caucus and the National Executive Committee, is expected to pave the way for a non-elective convention, just as with the PDP. But PDP's elective convention is scheduled for this December, where they will elect their national officers. Of course, the APC has no other option other than to quickly resolve its differences, because by middle of 2018, the primaries will start for the 2019 presidents. Of course, you recall the election date is around February. So INEC has published the dates. We know that by middle of 2018, which is not far away, the process of picking their candidates must arise. At a time, some leaders in the Southwest is talking of throwing the race open, even when the president has not spoken. But we expect that meeting to come and go, like you said, resolve most of their difference. Well, so many things happening in the ruling party, but let's quickly cross over to the courts, where Olisa Agbakoba, senior advocate of Nigeria, who a few days ago sued the NNPC for, of course, and the government for what he said was a lopsided appointment into his top hierarchy. He has indeed moved again with another suit, this time taking a look at the president's dual role as president of the Federal Republic and Minister of Petroleum. He's asking several questions. We are just picking up two of them that are key here. Can the president hold ministerial position without the due process of nomination and confirmation by the Senate? You recall when the Senate president nominated ministers, they were made to go through a confirmation process by the Senate based on Section 147, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which states that before you become a minister, you must be confirmed by the Senate. Did the president go through that process? Now, not having gone through that process, does it make his position as a Minister of Petroleum illegal and invalid? Another key issue he's throwing up is, can the president hold any other executive position? When you take a look at Section 138 of the Constitution, which states that the president cannot hold any other executive position, especially paid ones. Of course, that section says if you're the president, then you may not hold any other executive position, such as a minister. But some people are already pointing at the section that clearly states that the president, that the executive powers rest on the president. These are all the gamut of legal opinion, acts, and provisions of the Constitution that the courts would indeed have to rely on in arriving at a judgment. I just hope that this case will not be thrown out because of lack of local standing to indeed to, of course, pursue this case. Most times when citizens go to court to test some of these provisions, the government will say you lack the locus to what's your interest in this case, and most times the cases
I think it's good, because if you look at Britain or even US, their constitutional evolution and development has been strengthened by judicial pronouncements. And I think interpretation of some of these provisions in the Constitution will also enrich our Constitution. Others may see that what is his business? Why is he dabbling with that? But one major thing we take away from the judicial activism of the late Gani Fawehinmi is that it greatly helped to enrich our laws and also enrich our Constitution. And I think if Olisa Agbakoba is stepping into that shoe that has not been prominently that has not been occupied effectively since the demise of Gani Fawehinmi, it should be a welcome development, because our laws will be strengthened and our constitution will also be enriched, and we hope that he will also have the strength and the courage to pursue it up to the Supreme Court, so that there can be a final pronouncement on it, and our constitution the constitution will be the beneficiary at the end of the day.
Of course, some of our laws will be the judgments of the courts, especially the Supreme Court. It helps to indeed solidify our democracy. And the big question, as we get set to leave now, is will Nnamdi Kanu be in court today? His lawyers and family members said the army took him away when, of course, the skirmishes that happened around his home. My had during the Operation Python Dance 2, and even instituted a case asking the court to compel the army to produce him dead or alive. But of course, the government believes that indeed he should be around. Ojuzo Kalu, former governor of Abia State, was one of those that offered opinion on where they think Nnamdi Kanu is. He said he escaped through the borders, through Equatorial Guinea, and is presently in, of course, London, where he is a citizen of United Kingdom.
Well, I don't know which one to believe. Some said he's missing. Ojuzo Kalu said he's in Britain, and maybe by today, maybe we'll probably have an.
The government believes he's in hiding.
Yeah, we have information on his whereabouts, because if he fails to show up in the court, at least people who signed bail bonds on his behalf will be asked to produce him. And then if you want to save those one from going to prison, you will have to show up.
Or is it prison, or to lose the amount of money they pledged as part of their surety? But I suspect that what Kanu's lawyers will do today is to refer the court to that case they instituted in a federal high court, asking it to compel the military to produce him. Well, it was a missed opportunity for the Attorney General of the Federation, for the FCT High Court yesterday, to issue warrant of arrest on Senator Issa Misau. Of course, the case came up, but the senator was not around. The Attorney General's representatives asked the court to issue warrant of arrest so that he would be arrested and brought to court to face libel charges. But the judge said, you have not showed us proof that you made attempts to serve him personally, exhaust all processes legal to indeed bring him to court. I think later on this week, the court will reconvene to indeed determine whether indeed the case will go on, and we expect the Senate also to indeed carry out his investigation on allegations raised against the Inspector General of Police. The much you can take on today's edition. Thank you so much for being part of it. We'll return on Wednesday with another edition. On behalf of Adebayo Bodre and, of course, the production crew, have a lovely day ahead.
Bust it!